Rising Rampage introduces 3 cool new themes, the Tenyi, the Dream Mirrors, and the Water Cybers theme, Marincess, which you might be familiar with if you've been keeping up with Yu-Gi-Oh! VRAINS. When Aoi teams up with the Water Ignis Aqua, her Trickstar deck changes into the Water Cybers Marincess deck. And in Rising Rampage, the first 3 Marincess Link monsters are included. In addition, there are 2 Marincess main deck monsters in the set as well. Now you might be saying to yourself, hang on, that's a little weird, there's only 2 main deck monsters and 3 Link monsters, well how does that work? Well, the great thing about Marincess is that you only need 1 main deck monster, just this one, Marincess Seahorse, and you can summon each of these monsters in turn, eventually ending on Marincess Marbled Rock, with its ability to recur Marincess cards from the graveyard and block attacks and damage. Here's how the basic Marincess combo works. So let's go ahead and move these over here. Go to our extra deck right there. And let's say, okay, we have Marincess Seahorse. This is our 1 card we have in hand. We will normal summon it, and then we'll link summon, using that for Marincess Blue Slug. Now when this card is link summoned, you can target a Marincess monster in your graveyard, except a copy of herself, add it to your hand, but for the rest of the turn we can only special summon water monsters. That's totally fine. So we'll pick up Seahorse. Seahorse has an effect of her own that lets you special summon her from your hand to the zone where your Marincess Link monster points to. Alright, so she's back on the field, and these 2 together can be used to link summon Marincess, Coral, and Anemone. Now this monster, it's just 2 water monsters for its material, so it's useful in a wide variety of different water decks because its ability is to special summon back a water monster with 1500 or less attack points from your graveyard to the zone that it points to. And it points both left and down, so even if it's in your main monster zone, you'll still be able to use that ability. So in this case, we're going to bring back the Seahorse once again. Finally, we link summon using these 2 monsters, and we make Marincess Marbled Rock. Now, Anemone has another ability. When she's sent to the graveyard, you can get back a water monster from the graveyard to your hand. So we'll pick up Seahorse, back in our hand again. And Marincess Marbled Rock has another ability that lets us pick up a Marincess card from the graveyard. Now, it's not just monsters, it's also spells and traps. And Marincess does have a pretty good trap card to use. That would be Marincess Wave. You can activate it if you have a Marincess Link monster, and it does different things depending on the rank of the Link monster that you have. As long as you have at least 1, you can negate the effects of a face-up monster your opponent controls, and then if it's 2 or higher, all your Marincess cards, or monsters rather, are unaffected by your opponent's card effects for the turn, and then if you have a 3 or higher, you can play this directly from your hand, almost like infinite impermanence. So once you have Marincess Marbled Rock on the field, and you have Marincess Seahorse in your hand, you can block an attack from your opponent, making your monster invulnerable to that battle and reducing the damage to 0 by pitching it. And then since you keep getting it back, Marincess Marbled Rock is the cornerstone of a strategy that's very hard to break through and gives you a lot of cards for not a whole lot of investment. In fact, it's so little investment that just by putting 3 copies of Marincess Seahorse in your deck, you can add an extra dimension to really whatever water deck you're playing. One particularly good water deck to do this with is the Paleozoic Frog deck, which is kind of lacking in offense and 1-card starters, so adding Marincess Seahorse is an easy way to get a lot of extra power without a whole lot of deck space, since you do need a lot of that space for things like trap cards. And you don't use a whole lot of your extra deck in there anyways, so you can play 1 or 2 copies of these Link monsters. Of course, other things to summon with Coral Anemone, Swap Frog of course, also some of the Atlanteans like Neptibus as well. There are a lot of neat things you can do with Coral Anemone, so even if you don't want to commit to the entire Marincess package, you could always just use it to revive whatever water monsters you want. So how do you get to Marincess Seahorse? Well, she is a Cybers type monster, so you've got the classic Signet Mining. But if you want to play more Cybers monsters, and if you're going to play like a solo Marincess deck and not team it up with any other theme, I think you do want to play some more Cybers monsters. Things like Sea Archiver that can revive itself or summon from hand when you summon to a zone a Link monster points to. So you could search for both Seahorse and that with Signet Mining. There's also Signet Backdoor. This is one of the original Cyber support cards from Structure Deck Cyber's Link. Lets you banish one of your Cyber's monsters to add to your hand from the deck a Cyber's monster with lower attack points than the one you banished. And then that monster comes back to your turn, or comes back to your field during the next standby phase, and then it can attack directly that turn. Signet Backdoor is a very tricky card, and it's particularly good with Marbled Rock if you can wait that long, since you can move her out of the extra monster zone and then get her over here where her 2 arrows give you 2 new spaces to summon from the extra deck. Now once you've done the Marbled Rock combo, that's a pretty good defense as long as you have other cards to help out with it. But what do you do as the follow-up to that? Let's talk about things that you can do to kind of extend your combo on the next turn and actually win the duel. Alright, so when you're starting your next turn, you will at least have Marincess Seahorse, or the ability to pick Marincess Seahorse back up from your graveyard with Marbled Rock. But where do you go from there? Well, you really do want Sea Archiver. So let's say that we've got a copy of Sea Archiver. I don't know where we got it from. Maybe we Signet Mining it. So we can special summon our Seahorse and normal summon our Sea Archiver. Those are 2 level 2 or higher Cyber's monsters, so we can send them to the graveyard and link summon Update Jammer. Now what you do here depends on whether or not you have something else to give you, one more summon. My choices would be either Crusadia Arborea or Instant Fusion. These are the other 2 cards that I might want if I want to go even further beyond. So in this case, Update Jammer was summoned to a zone that a link monster points to, so Sea Archiver can come back, put it over here. Sea Archiver does not have to go to the zone that a link monster points to. It just has to be something that was summoned there. And then together with that, say we've got Instant Fusion, we can go ahead and play that. And grab Sea Monster of Theseus. It's a tuner monster. So of course we have tuner, non-tuner, level 8. And we can synchro summon. And follow this up with Borreload Savage Dragon. And of course we've got a Link 1 and Link 2 in the graveyard because we did the Marincess combo. So we can equip that there and get a Borreload Savage Dragon with 2 counters on it, plus an extra 1,000 attack, so a 4,000 attacker there. And then with these 2, well, these 2 are both special summoned from the extra deck. You've got a 3 and a 1. And you can follow that up with Mech Knight Crusadia Avramax, who will be able to attack 2 times during this battle phase. Other things that you could do, and all of them will involve this Mech Knight Crusadia Avramax as well. Instead of the Savage Dragon, because you had a water tuner and water non-tuner, you could also just go straight for their life points with, and here's something that you might not have thought you were going to see today, White Aura Whale. This takes a water tuner, 1 or more water non-tuners, and when it's synchro summoned, you can destroy all your opponent's attack position monsters. It inflicts piercing damage on defense position monsters, and it can make 2 attacks on monsters each turn. So with these 2 combined, you're probably doing 8,000. And of course, before we go, one more thing that you could do. Let's go back to where we've got our Sea Archiver over here. Let's say we had Crusadia Arborea. We could special summon that there and use these to make a 6. Synchro summon level 6. Well, that would be Brianak, Dragon of the Ice Barrier. And you can just toss as many cards as you need to from your hand to put your opponent's entire field back in their hand, and then get them for 6,023. And that's over 8,000 as well. And if you don't have anything particularly great, those 2 level 3s could also be used to make number 75 Bamboozling Gossip Shadow, and instead give you a monster effect negation as well. So out of that 1 card, Marincess Seahorse, combined with an extender or 2, you can do all sorts of things, many of which involve just winning the game outright, right there. It's a very powerful strategy, and it can make use of a lot of different things. Water things, Cybers things. It's a good type and attribute combination. Now, if you're looking for more Marincess cards, well, you won't have to wait too long. Rising Rampage Special Edition has 3 new variant cards for Marincess decks, including a Link 4 Marincess monster, a second Link 1 Marincess monster, and that one searches out a Marincess spell when she's Link summoned, which we've included as well in the Special Edition, a Marincess field spell. So there's a lot of great stuff in the future for Marincess, and they're pretty darn good right now as well. So if you've got them, I'd give them a try. I think you'll be surprised at how powerful they can be. And I'll see you next time.